Hey guys, what's up? Behind the Builds back. Today we'll be covering the basic principles of a two-speed transmission gearbox. I will be covering both designs that you see here today, and I'll be going over some of the basics too, so don't worry if you think that this is going to be complicated. It's going to be super easy. So for those of you who are learning about a two-speed gearbox for the first time, I will go over this very quickly. Don't worry, it's super easy. But you have your input axle, and the output of it is changed through the gearbox. So sometimes actually you can make it toward the input and the output are the same speed through the gearbox, of course, but other times you've usually increase or decrease this. I have here two assemblies that will show off one of the ways that you can create a two-speed transmission gearbox, and that is by having two different gears on the other side of the driving ring. So just set it off to the side. In regards to the driving ring, you can rotate the axle and the gears won't spin with them because they are free spinning gears, both of these. So this is a 16 tooth and this is a 20 tooth. Essentially all it is that you slide that in, and then once you slide that in, now you'll be rotating this gear. And same thing with this other side. I have here an assembly with two opposing gears that will mesh into these in just a moment. But if you notice, they're on the exact same axle, so they're both turning the exact same rate right now. So this will be the output, while this will be the input. So I'll start by combining these really quick. So the 16 goes to the 16 tooth, and the 20 goes to the 12 tooth gear. So I have here built an upper assembly with a switch that, as you can tell, moves the driving ring. Show it from this view too so you can see. And again, on the input axle, right here with the driving ring, I have a 20 tooth gear that connects to a 12, and then a 16 that connects to another 16. Remember, both these gears are on the exact same axle. So, to testing it out, let me go to 16 teeth, which is a 1-to-1 gear ratio. So as I turn this, you should be able to notice that they rotate at the exact same speed. Then if I flip it the other way, it actually increases the speed because you have a big gear driving a smaller gear. And so there you go. So as you connect different gear ratios, you have to make sure that they are on the exact same axes, and that they are on the exact same axle as well. And then that's how you get your input and your output. If you notice too, let me remove this really quick. If you notice that I'll move the output because you can actually move it either way. But if I move the output and call out the input, if you notice, these gears are both spinning, but of course they are spinning at different rates. Okay, I need to hold that quick. But they're spinning at different rates. So if I engage that one, now the driving ring will spin at the same speed as this gear, and vice versa with this gear. Another way that you can make a two-speed transmission gearbox is actually by having the exact same gear teeth on the other side of the driving ring, and then by doing an assembly very similar to this where you have different size gears on the other side. Now, just to show you this really quick, if I remove this axle, you can see that though these are on the same axes, they're not the same axle, so they will be rotating at different speeds. So how this will work is the driving ring will engage to these gears right here, but depending on which one it will rotate, or which one will be driven, will be changing the speed of the output. So let me just assemble this here. And then I have these assemblies to help lock the gearbox in. There, so as you can tell, we have the two gears on the other side that are the exact same, and then they hit these gears. So these gears will actually be rotating at the same speed if I engage it. So if I engage it this way, these rotate at one speed, and then these are rotating at the same speed. Because if you look, it's just from the input, just shifted down. But the reason why these are actually on two separate axles is because of right here. If you notice that they are connected, so if I engage in this way, how it is with the lever I have right here, if I engage here, these are all the same size teeth, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio, and then that causes this axle to spin at the exact same rate as this axle right here. But now if I flip the other way though, it is 1-to-1 right here, but then on this same axle that spins, it spins this smaller black 12-tooth gear. So that will rotate at the exact same speed as this one right here, but then it causes this, but then it actually gets reduced in speed by this gear. So if you can tell, or rotate from the other way, that the red axle and this yellow extender piece should be rotating at different speeds. What I've done here on the right is I grabbed the first gearbox that we had, and I actually added another layer of these these rectangle frames, and I added a 20-tooth gear, and that was all I added. Now if you see here, it was 20, 12, and 20. Well, essentially, I believe it's called that makes the 12-tooth and idler gear is what I believe it's called, but causes this gear and that gear to rotate at the exact same speed, which you can clearly see right there. But if we remember, on the same axle is the 1-to-1 ratio. So this actually is the exact same gearbox here. So again, going back to this, we get a reduced speed here, and then we get a 1-to-1 ratio right there. Now if we do here, if I engage the driving ring over to the red side, it's 1-to-1 right there, but then it goes straight to this 12-tooth black gear, if you can see in there, then hits this, and so it is reduced. But then if I go the other way, you go same size, different to same size, and so it actually creates a 1-to-1 ratio. So it is exactly like the last gearbox, except with obviously which gears you interchange into, but it creates the exact same speed. Well guys, thanks again for tuning in. I hope that you learned what you need to learn as far as a 2-speed transmission is concerned, and that you'll apply these to your builds. Again, bottom line, just remember, a 2-speed transmission changes the output from the input speed, and so you can have them to be the same, or they can be greater or lesser. Either way, please leave a like and subscribe, and definitely give me comments on the future videos that you would like to see, whether it be builds, reviews, or techniques that you would like to see be done. Alright guys, thanks. Have a good one. Bye.